If I said to you, how about 20,000 Rand to go towards your sterilization and the medical needs of those bunnies in your care, how'd that sound?
Oh, geez, Dylan, now I'm crying. And I said to myself, I'm not allowed to cry today.
It's time for another Hot Cares moment here on Hot 1027 on the Just Plain Drive. And today we'll be talking about bunnies, rabbits. They make wonderful pets for those who are responsible enough to actually care for them. But sadly, here in Joburg, in many cases, a lot of people take home a cute, cuddly bunny and then end up dumping it on the side of the road when reality sets in. Today we're talking to Miani Pieterse, who's based in Fairland, and she runs Berario Bunnies. It's a safe haven for these abandoned and neglected rabbits that eventually come to her, and she needs to care for them through her NGO. Miani, just take us through a little bit about Berario and what you guys do there at the safe haven.
I started because I wanted to sterilize some rabbits at a recreation center in Berario. And I realized that rabbits breed like rabbits do, and they needed help, and they were just breeding like crazy, and the dogs were killing them, and the cars were running them over, and people were picking them up, taking them home, not knowing how to care for them. And the manager of the center was getting flack because they moved into people's gardens and they eat plants, and people didn't like it. So I decided to start helping there, and I wanted to sterilize them. Pretty much the same concept as your feral cat, trap, neuter and release, you know. And so that's what I wanted to do, and that's where it was going to end. But unfortunately it didn't. Fortunately for the bunnies, not so fortunate for me. I ended up becoming a rescue just by default because there's such a demand for it.
Miani, you say they breed like crazy, I believe, every 28 days. So yes. I guess unless you stay on top of the situation, you've got a lot of bunnies to try and sterilize. And I believe that not just caring for them medically, but getting on top of the sterilization issue is key to ensuring that you're not left with a bunch of bunnies that are not looked after and neglected, and those numbers just start adding up.
Yeah, it is exactly as the saying goes, breed like rabbits. There is no more truth ever than that, because they do have babies every 28 days. I have seen with my own eyes where the mother is washing the blood off of her babies that she's just given birth to, and the male is impregnating her again. That's how fast they breed. And unfortunately, the public, because they don't do their homework, they don't know that, and they don't realize that. And then they think, oh, look, my bunny's had a litter, and they don't know that they are already pregnant again. They're already carrying the next litter. That's how fast they breed. So within 4 weeks or 28 days, boom, there's your next litter, and you're still trying to deal with the previous 5 or 7 bunnies. They can have up to 12 babies at a time. And this is where people just don't understand why it is so important to sterilize their bunnies. It is the one thing, if I die tomorrow, that I hope people understand how important, and that I've gotten that message across at least.
And Miani, I see on your website that you encourage people to adopt and not buy bunnies as pets. A lot of people have no idea what they're getting into when they decide, oh, that looks cute, I'll take it home. Just take us through the reality on the ground of what happens.
Yeah, that is very true. So, generally you go to a pet shop, you buy an animal. What kind of guidance do you get? What care do you get? What information do you get? They tell you, here's the food. Half the time the food is wrong. With rabbits, they will give really inexpensive pellets. The mix is wrong. They give you the wrong type of grasses that they need to eat. A rabbit's diet needs to consist of 80% hay. People half the time don't know that. So you're not getting the right information when you're buying that little rabbit. It is so important that you know what you're getting into and that you have the support you need. And with rescues, you get it for free. We don't charge for that support, we just keep doing it because we care about our bunnies. My bunnies stay my bunnies forever. When people adopt from me, I tell them they're family now, and I have to stay in touch for the rest of the life of that bunny. I take them back when people can't keep them anymore. because it's just so important for me that I know the rest of their life is going to be okay until their life is no longer. And
Miani, just give us a sense of what sort of costs are involved and what it costs to sterilize one bunny so we can get the full picture.
So again, when you're adopting, you're getting a sterilized bunny for your adoption fee. And I'm happy to mention my adoption fee is 500 Rand. It is not a lot of money, but you're getting a sterilized bunny. You're not going to have breeding rabbits. You're not going to have an overpopulation. You know, more bunnies are not going to end up at the pet shop that nobody wants. So I feel it's only fair that it's you know, people should be willing to look at that cost and look at it in the right sense.
Miani, Hot 1027 listeners have told us that you guys were recently called out to an office park to go and rescue a bunny called a Jersey Woolly, which is quite a long-haired bunny that's not really suited for scorching heat waves here in Joburg. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a friend, I can say. I've known Kayla for a long time. She has pet bunnies of her own, so she obviously has a heart for them. And she often asks me to come and help where she sees a bunny in her area. And she happened to see this Jersey Woolly just one day outside their complex. And they were so shocked to see that this bunny suddenly appeared there. And these rabbits cannot live feral with their long fur. They need to be groomed at least 3 times a week, which is also why they don't get homes, just by the way. People don't want to adopt them because of the work to maintain their fur. And so these woolies, if you don't look after them and you don't groom them, what happens is that fur just grows and grows. It becomes big, chunky knots. It tears at their skin. Their skins are very sensitive. It ends up bleeding. They can end up with wounds, which again can cause fly strike, all sorts of health issues, and it could lead to a really awful, painful death, and otherwise just a really very uncomfortable life living with these, like you can almost say, like a dreadlock, you know, they become these big chunks of hair that hang off of them and tear at them. So it is just not the right environment for them. They shouldn't be living feral, and people just don't care. They just dump them because they don't want them.
Well, Miani, animals are very close to the hearts of all our listeners here at Hot 1027 and everyone at Hot 1027 and Hot Cares. So we recognize the fantastic work that you do at Berario, and we want to help. So if I said to you, how about 20,000 Rand to go towards your sterilization and the medical needs of those bunnies in your care, how'd that sound?
Oh, geez, Dylan, now I'm crying. And I said to myself, I'm not allowed to cry today because these guys, they just need help, you know, and so few people are willing to help them, and so few people are willing to realize how hard it is for them. So that is really fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't thank you guys enough.
It's our absolute pleasure. And like I said, we really see just how close these bunnies are to your heart, and what a special cause you're fighting there. So please keep going.
Thank you.
And keep us... stay in touch and keep us appraised of how things are going there, Berario.
I will. Thank you guys so much. I really thank you for today, and I'm really hoping it helps give exposure to these little guys.